So work is going on, but at the same time, there's a concept that is burning that needs to get done in form of a film. Yeah?
That started in America.
Yes, it was a script that was written for the heck of passing time, and now here I am. I have a camera, and I'm ready to try. Yeah, I'm ready to try. So I approach a renowned producer who's been in film for a long time, and I talk to him. His name is Sagwa Chabeda, and I talk to him and I tell him, look, I have this concept. So he looks at the script, he says it's okay, but the format is wrong. I need to help you format the script so that it turns into what is called a screenplay.
As a producer, essentially mine is to realize the director's vision. So when Steve had come to talk to me about the script, I realized this is a story worth telling. And what would it take to make it? That's essentially what the producer does. The producer is at the center and the nuts and bolts person who works on the production from this pitching of the story all the way to the end, which is distribution. So essentially I realized the story was a unique one in terms of it didn't have a message so hard that it was drumming down, but it was more or less like told in a subtle way.
Okay.
So we got together, and once we had worked out the details of the script, we essentially saw the next step is to choose the cast who would basically bring the story to life.
So he takes the script and he formats it a little bit and just neatens it up and takes out what's unnecessary and whatnot. And then we decide, it was first supposed to be a very short story because as I was writing, I was thinking maybe we don't have the money to shoot.
And what year is this? Just let's get it right.
Now we're heading to 208. 207 going to 208. So as I'm writing, I'm also writing with budget constraint in mind.
Fear.
Yes. so I'm thinking here, we can't really go large on this thing. So the whole idea was supposed to happen in one house.
It's not going big.
Yeah. So the whole idea was supposed to happen in one house. That was the whole idea. Yeah. All the drama was supposed to happen in one house and whatnot. Then the producer is like, you know what, man? This story, number one, if we shoot it all in a house, it will be short. It won't qualify for a normal movie. It will be too short. And if your story is too short, you can't sell it. It's not gonna play anywhere. Yeah. So that challenged us to stretch further, shoot more. Then as the shoot was going on, this was the time Prison Break was hot. So because Prison Break is hot and we're watching Prison Break all the time, we are pulling ideas left, right and center from all over the place. And we are shooting more or less like an action thriller.
People have to understand, Prison Break was the beginning of binge watching series.
Correct. Yes.
Before Prison Break,
yes,
there was no binge watching.
We never even cared about watching series before that.
On this level of series watching.
Exactly.
Where you sit down and it's series after series after,
Yes. So by this time, we're just getting bombarded with all sorts of dope ideas as to how we can make this movie better. Yeah, and I have a very competent producer, and by this time we are going around and the idea is let's get as many celebs and big guys who want to act on this thing as possible.
Shouldn't be like Prada here attached. This is like Chinese star. Just this guy who's like driving one of those, like this rich guy who's driving one of those. What are you laughing at? I don't look rich. I look rich in the movie. I'm spinning those Karen cowboy, sort of old Range Rovers. You know the ones they go lion hunting with.
The current Mr. Kenya is also in the cast, playing a role quite opposite of his character.
It was really hard at first because I tried out different characters, but at the end of the day, I have a side of me that I've never discovered, which I can get violent, I can get mad, and I can steal. That's how I discovered.
So we've approached Nonini. Nonini has come through. He has delivered a stunning performance. Eric Wanene has agreed to be on this movie. Peter King, who is already a Hollywood guy, yeah. Peter King already has acted with the Ralph Fiennes. He has been on Hollywood sets. Currently, he did Sense8 the other day.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm in the zone with power. Yeah.
And these guys, they're coming in like friends.
They're coming in because they just like the idea.
Okay.
Yeah, this is more or less.
So budget,
yeah.
haiko tight to that.
Yeah. So basically, as we're going, the thing is getting better. Then, towards the end of it, my producer tells me, you know what? He said they had a meeting with Chris Kirubi
I remember this.
at his office. We were talking about some other stuff, but I told him I'm making a movie, and I asked him if he wants to be in it. And then I asked him, what did Chris say? He said, but Chris said it's okay. He can actually be in the movie if we show him what he's supposed to do. Yeah. So, a Friday, I'm in town, going about my business. I got a call at about 2:30. My producer Sago is calling me. He's like, where are you? I told him, I'm somewhere here near French Culture. And he's like, can you cross to International Lifehouse? I'm asking for. He's like, Chris Kirubi wants to meet you.
Hey Steve, this is some inspirational ish.
Yo, I went to an office with a carpet that you want to remove your shoes. Yeah. So if you get there, man, I'm sitting at a desk with Chris Kirubi, you know, and we're talking about a shoot that he's willing to be part of. And then guess who else is willing to be on the same set? Mike Rabah of Homeboys.
No way.
Yeah, Mike was on the movie. He came.
No way.
He came. He was on it. Yeah. So here we are spending an hour and a half of Chris Kirubi's time in his office when he could have been doing so many other things, and he's basically
discussing what was in your head, your dream.
He's trying to get the gist of what we are doing, and he's trying to see how he can come in, and he's trying to understand what role he can play and how he can move this project further. Yeah. I tell you, the day we shot at Chris Kirubi's office. Have you ever shot something, the tape, you put it in this pocket, and then you hold this pocket like this until you reach the studio.
And you transfer.
You don't even want to cross roads.
You back up and then you back up on.
You don't even want to cross roads. You don't even want somebody to greet you. It was a tough shoot because here you are and there's no opportunity to mess up. You gotta get it right. This is Chris Kirubi. He's given you 1 hour of his life to shoot. I remember that day he was going to London. It was a Saturday. He was leaving for London at lunchtime. We were shooting in the morning at 9. He said, we finish because I have a flight to catch, an international flight. So you know that whole atmosphere, yeah? So that was it. I mean, it was an interesting experience. To shoot. Now, what Formula X did also was the first.
The name of the movie was Formula X.
Formula X, yes. Yeah. Formula X was the first movie to run on digital billboards as a trailer.
The urgency for the search for a vaccine against HIV stems from the AIDS-related death toll of over 25 million people since 1981. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have a vaccine. I present to you Formula X.
Your name has been mentioned by every dealer in stolen motor vehicle parts we've ever arrested. You're a notorious car thief.
If this formula works, our lives will change forever.
Why do you think I should give you this job?
This is Hermann Schäfer calling from JDM head office in Paris, France.
Lisa, call the police.
Yes.
There's a huge billboard at Haile Selassie roundabout. Giant billboard that we went to Span Image and we spoke to Paul Ndishu. Is it Paul or Eddie? One of the two of them. Can't remember. One of the two bros, yeah. And they liked the idea and they floated it to their managers. And the managers watched the trailer, and that's why I wanted to say we don't have money to pay for digital signage. We don't. The red card was something like $500,000 a month. And we just begged and pleaded and they said yes. And it actually ran on that screen for a month. Every 3 to 4 minutes it would come. What? It would come in between Britannia biscuits and Blue Band and Omo and Coca-Cola and Safaricom, and then it would come. Then it would play 30 seconds, then it would go out, then the other adverts would run, and it did that for a month.
And Span Image wasn't just that billboard, it was in every is it
yes.
Mobile Mart?
Plus supermarkets.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Like when you're buying your pizza, it's
yes.
that screen.
Yes, exactly.
And you got all that mileage for
just
free.
Favor of God, man. It was just the favor of God that made that possible.
Yeah,
so,
may I say it's a favor of God
yeah.
and your hard work and your faith.
So as a result of that, a lot of things opened up, yeah. And
so let me first ask, even before you talk about what opened up. So where were you? You were playing it on that so that people go watch it in cinema?
Yes, and it's screened in the theaters.
Okay, now for people in the movie industry, how do you even get a thing that you shot onto cinema? Where do you start?
It's a long shot. It's an extremely long shot, and these days it's harder than it was back then. Well, it's a question of the movie has to be reviewed. The theater people have to see the business sense in it, because nobody wants to screen a movie that will be watched by 2 people
exactly.
or 1 person or 3 people, because it's a loss. It's loss making for them. So they have to see it. They have to see a marketing plan. They have to understand that it is worth it. Otherwise, we put Spider-Man. Or otherwise we put Harry Potter or James Bond.
So you're not
those are guaranteed.
Yeah.
You see. So you're basically fighting for James Bond space.
What?
You see.
So for you, the game had
You're basically fighting for Star Wars space.
At home.
Yes.
In Kenya.
Exactly. Because for them, Star Wars is guaranteed. Why should they play a Kenyan film? Star Wars will bring the numbers without a doubt. It can never fail. So you have to convince them. So what you're doing has to make for them businesses that they have to see that something tangible can come out of it. Otherwise, the answer is no.
So let's be real then. Without that Span Image, that Span Image was a huge pusher to show bums on seats. Because that's what it is. It's bums on seats.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's business. If you were a theater owner, you'd think the same way. It has to translate. If 3 guys are watching, then we remove it. It's just like television series in America. If a series has low rating, by the 3rd episode, it's taken out because it has to make business sense.
What?
So we were lucky. We were absolutely fortunate at that point in time to go that far on a film that was shot out of pocket. I mean, we didn't have funding. We didn't have a studio backing us up. We didn't have anything. It was just, a group of great actors who wanted to be part of it, and that's how it worked.
And Steve, I've seen you in 1 or 2 photos with Lupita. Where does that come in?
Lupita Nyong'o, I met her during MTV. There was an MTV event, I think 2010, thereabout, 2010, 2011. I met her, and by this time, this is the funniest thing. The house that we shot Formula X is somewhere in Ngong. The house we shot Formula X is owned by one of Lupita's brothers, or rather one of Lupita's brothers stays there. There's a guy called Kwame Nyong'o, yeah? And Kwame Nyong'o was friends with the producer Sago. I think they were schoolmates, they went to school together. So as a result of that, we were frantically looking for that type of a location of a house. So Sagwa spoke to Kwame back then, and we went and previewed the place, and we did a rec, and it was good, and we were granted the place. And as a result of that, we got to know Kwame because we were shooting there for almost a week, yeah? And Kwame and Lupita, because they're brother and sister.
Like their brother and sister?
Like in a
same
sense.
Father,
yeah, like same father. Kind of, I had something to tell Lupita when I met her. You get? And this is the even more interesting thing. The first time I saw and heard of Lupita, Lupita was a director. I never knew Lupita to be an actor. She came on board for some MTV. This was before Sugar. There was an MTV were looking for a director to shoot a music video, and there was a kind of like a pitch that was going on at Intercontinental. So I was one of the people pitching because I wanted the job. Edu G was there pitching, a few other directors were there pitching, and Lupita was also pitching. But
director.
Yes, by this time she's in Kenya. She's working at Phoenix. She's doing other jobs here and there. Yeah. So we are at Intercontinental, and there's this conference round table place where everybody comes with their pitch and whatnot. And I'm introduced to this chick called Lupita, and I'm told she's from somewhere out there in LA. She's doing some stuff out there. She's in Kenya now. And how I knew her initially was as a director. I never knew she was an actor at all. And even that particular video, there's a video for, is it Bebe Cool or Bobby Wine and Wahoo? Is it Wahoo and Bobby Wine? An MTV funded video where there are guys juggling fire. It's either Wahoo and Bobby Wine or Wahoo and Bebe Cool.
Baby dear, well indeed, girl, the symbol of beauty. Bobby Wine alongside Wahoo. I'll get the Panamix man.
Boy, you make my heart go ooh, ooh, with every little thing you do. Ooh, you make me go ooh, ooh, with every little thing you do.
You make me feel hot, hot. Everything you want to tell me on.
One of those. It was her and a collab with one of the top Uganda guys back then. The person who won the job to do the video was Lupita. She's actually the director of that video. So all this time, I know Lupita as a director. I never knew she was an actor. Later on, we meet at one of the Kalasha Awards. The photo that you see online was at a Kalasha Awards. I don't remember which exact year it was. It was either 2009 or 2010, somewhere around there. By this time, Lupita is just one of us, you know, Kenyan actor, whatnot. So it was easy to take a picture with her, you know. And then after this, she does Sugar. And then we don't see her again for about 3 or 4 years. We're just told she went back.
Then
we see her name on a trailer with Brad Pitt and Michael Fassbender and Chiwetel Ejiofor. Then we're like, okay, I'm a faker. So basically, I wouldn't say that there is much more to that story than that.
Okay.
But she knows I exist and I know she exists. And hopefully, because obviously now she's A-list Hollywood, I hope one day we might meet again and maybe she can get to see some of the things I'm doing and maybe, you know, open up a few avenues. Because you see, Hollywood really, it's really big, and you really have to know what's going on and who is in there.
Exactly.
So that's basically it. There's really not much more to it. I mean, being asked, are you guys dating? I was like, of course not, can't be.
Okay.
You know? So
Steve-O,
yeah,
I want to, again, pull this thing back. And the reason why I do this is because I'm trying to, you see, for me, the story of the Kenyan music industry is people's stories all collectively told as once. Mm-hmm. So when you hear Steve's stories in its in fullness, you're able to understand a small piece of how the Kenyan music industry has got to where it is. Now, I can't leave out this because as a guy, later on I become a musician, I come back and then I'm like, hey Steve, let's do a song together. And we do a song together. And then you give that song not to your assistant. And your assistant this time is not Gits. It's a guy called Teddy B. And that guy sort of does a touch-up remix and goes to become again. From being under Steve Ominde, in fact, even to be honest, I sort of allowed him under this space. I was like, I want Steve-O to work on my songs. Don't give me assistant producers. And goes to become the reason behind Willie Paul. or the hit maker behind Willie Paul and under Lampstand Records and a whole lot of things. So let's talk about people who, again, another era of people being under you.
The era of people being under me, I can take it back all the way to 2004.